I think it would be understated to say what a year, divine feminine, and you are reaching this precipice of change. You probably do not feel it. For those of you that don't know, we are changing things up online. For those of you that don't know who I am a psychic medium, very old psychic medium, twin flame astrologer, and we do have a membership as well. We're going to cover this read today in two parts. First, by the energy of what you directly are going through, or cross watchers, whomever's watching, and then how the energy is directly linking in with the joint connection with people, places, and things, as well as counterpart. Without further ado, let's get the cards up on the screen. If you have watched the Divine Masculines read already, you do know that there was a correlating energy, which is quite common for those of you that don't know much about the twin flame path. Depending on where you are in your ascension process, it can be very common to have that psychic connection to the circumstance. So sometimes you can be in your own personal lane. You might not have any interaction with them whatsoever, but you will be picking things up. Generally, when it's extremely heavy and you are quite detached, it does signify a pivotal point in the connection where something directly is changing. And 9 times out of 10, what you can find is you can reach communication. So for those of you that potentially aren't in communication, some of those things could be coming through. This was a very difficult Mercury retrograde. It was in the underrealm of that Plutonian energy. It was very dark. It was very gloomy. A lot of things personally might have been popping off. And really, as we're reaching beyond the mid-month point, is that point where we are going to see some momentum, so to speak. So it's like we're coming out of the woods. And I need you to look at it from that perspective of, taking a deep breath, nurturing yourself, especially from this crowning energy. Both you and the masculine did have a significant energy at the crowning level, and they are quite similar to a degree. So if you haven't seen the masculines read, go through and look at the crowning energy. They almost look identical, but they're to do with a physical person. Now, it can be that you are dealing with an energy of a parent energy. It could also be something to do with children. This could be a psychic download you're physically getting about a circumstance that counterpart is dealing with, even with a karmic individual. 9 times out of 10, we do look at the yin to the yang of that. So we can look at it from a negative and a positive polarity point of view. Regardless, it could be also that you are needing to nurture yourself, but your intuition could be quite high. We do tend to find that, especially with Jupiter in its retrograde, what you're going to find is your intuition is going to be quite heightened. You can have shadow work, you can have revelations and things that you missed. You're actually going to key point solutions to your problems can start coming through. And I do feel psychically the divine feminine really is going to be, if they are grounded enough, able to actually tune into this quite effectively. Now, as we're looking at the overall energy in the top row, we do see in the most recent past, again, it's almost like your intuition's coming back online. And 9 times out of 10, the reason why that is coming about is because you've gone through a dissension process, which means you could have been purging, things could have been popping off, you might have been very much in the 3D. Your sleep with the owl energy may have been interrupted. And it's weird because it's almost like this past situation here is actually going to be giving you some blessings. That's how my guides are showing it to me this week in the mix. So it feels like something to do with this past situation, your character, how you deal with circumstances, reviewing it. Don't overlook that, because I do feel something there is going to come back and really bless you. I also feel in your heart space, you're going to be fiercely protected, but you also are very protective. So you're coming through like this rebirth where you are going to fight for what you want. You're going to say what you need. You're going to go forward and demand that there is balance. But I do feel, again, this almost serpent rising frequency. It feels it's like you're flying high, and you're rising above something, but you're going to be able to tackle something very much head on. And this feels like the term I'm hearing is challenge taken. So you've moved through this dissension place, you're moving into this ascended state, you're being very assertive, you're having to jump in and deal with things, you're in that Mercury energy. And for some of you, it can be that you're having light bulb moments. I do feel this has some correlating energy to your counterpart, but also you incorporating your inner divine masculine to tackle the challenges. And it feels like you're trying to bring balance again back into your life where there's this yin yang. So something that was really off center, something that you felt you had to put to bed, that there was no possibility with it. I do feel that there is a circumstance coming back to be resurrected to deal with it. Now, at a base level, it's interesting how you have a similar card to Divine Masculine. I feel that birds can be giving you some messages, and your intuitive energy can be picking up on future events. I want you to trust your instincts with that, what you're guided to do, what you're guided to let go of. Where this mysterious, mystic frequency is amplifying, I feel that you may be cautious about the cards that you show to people. What you do expose, it's almost like a game plan I see you actually forging in the context of moving forward to your destiny. Now, you may question whether that's going to be possible, but it is because at the moment, some of your destiny feels is upside down. There is a hangman position relating to it, a sacrifice that you feel almost cursed, because we've got the crow's hair, we've got the dark energy, and it's like you're doing a clearing and you're saying enough is enough. It's like you're cutting it off at the ankles, and you're like, no more. I don't know what this energy is. I'm disconnecting from it. So, many times we can literally feel when there's so much adversity, there's so much blocks, and I directly can relate, especially in the twin flame path, that sometimes it feels like darker forces are at play, and that something that has changed me through my twin flame path is I believe that people can be the better version of themselves, but I also do believe, how can I state this? I believe that people have the capacity for wrong as well. So I'm open-minded to the factor, although I'm protective to the point where I'm aware that we all have higher and lower frequency. So it's going into the situation wise, and it's being prepared because of that. So it's almost like it's a learned lesson. It's something you've learned. It's not like you're going into a circumstance naively. You're going in with education. You're going in with wisdom, and you're actually almost X-ray visioning situational shifts so that you're not getting yourself into trouble, so that you're not going into circumstances that are going to block you in against a wall and create havoc in your life. You're really being quite cautious. And it's quite funny because I do see actually that frequency coming through in the Divine Masculines read this week in the mix also. Now, as to your destiny, there's a slight delay, but I do not feel it's a no. I feel it's almost like you're having a revelation that you will fight, that you will move forward. And this union card actually is your outcome card. So to me, this does signify something in it. You're coming full circle. You're coming into your personal union energy. Now, we're going to look at the joint connection of how this applies. And I do feel, especially from this crowning energy, we're going to pull a clarifier. I want to see what the yin to the yang of this is. For some of you, separately, I do feel you could be tuning into a changing circumstance around a feminine energy with your counterpart, and maybe even some common grounds that you've shared with this person with some circumstances that you've gone through. You may feel that there are entanglements here that are directly impacting them. You may have felt at a point that they were too entwined with this circumstance and it was highway robbery. Now, it's funny because the clarifier card is the sacral, it's the energy point where it's Mars in nature. The card number is the 5. It drops down to a 5. There is coins over it, but there's also, it's in the water. It's emotions relating to water, finances, power, generosity, and abundance. So many changes have come that for you, you feel there is a war linking to the circumstance that could change everything. Now, relating to your past, You are wanting a cemented foundation that feels safe and stable. And I feel this is something in your mind you're realizing is an absolute necessity. So, potentially in the past, where you felt, hey, this person focuses too much on wealth, you're actually seeing the opposite side of the coin here. And look, whatever your energy used to be, it's doing the opposite. So, you're understanding the need for you to choose your soul purpose, your destiny of who you are, but you're also understanding the 3D world that is the monetary world. And it's like, okay, well, we need a physical foundation here. Now, this can be sending you to a different level of honesty. And you are looking at this and you're kind of having a revelation of the requirement in this circumstance for this person to both A, assert themselves, but B, get to a point where they're completely honest with themselves. Because yes, we do have, sometimes it can be financial entanglements when we're leaving circumstances, but also the give and take in connections and what we're willing to give. Okay, this can be a very, very brutal conversation that could be coming. This could be information and gossip through the grapevine. This also could be coming from the horse's mouth. This person is having a shake-up and a change surrounding tribe and family. You also could be feeling as though you're needing to nurture yourself. You're wanting nurturing. You're wanting to actually have somebody in your life that's going to be there, that's going to build with you. And so your soul is almost talking to your guides, and your guides are going, okay, now that we understand where you want to go, we're co-creating that in the 3D. So there can be some stumbling blocks. There can be some things that need adjusting. And you may not believe how magically these can come about. Because where it feels your destiny is actually not coming through, it's almost like the solution to the problem. So it's by pausing, it's actually causing almost like, why am I hearing a Bunsen burner? It's like Bunsen burner. Why are they showing me that? Okay, it's not going to make sense to you. They're saying it's not going to make sense, but it is causing a breakthrough in this. Go into the heart space, because this person is feeling very, very connected to you. This person is wanting to bring value and wanting to bring spirit. So they're getting more into the equilibrium of wanting to bring the give and take, but they're also realizing there has been one particular area that has been really overdue for addressing, and they're about to address it now. Now, for those of you that don't know, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, as we do have Mercury retrograde, we will be launching a newsletter. So if you want to sign up to that, the link is directly below. If you want to get onto our new membership, it is going to be open early next year, or early birds can actually access it by jumping onto our sign up. There is a sign up page, a landing page. All information is directly below for the actual membership. So if it's something you're quite interested in, we do have pre-release content. Everything that comes with that membership you can find on the website. Jump on now and take a look. Otherwise, we will check in with the synergy next week. Don't forget to go and have a look at the Divine Masculines and cross-reference and tell me how you feel the situation's playing out in your connection. Very spooky situation.